What's happening, dogs? Mr. Allen here with some congruent triangles in this bad boy. We got what additional piece or pieces of information are needed to prove the triangle's congruent by side, 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 angle, and angle, angle, side. So we might need multiple pieces of information. Maybe we'll just need one, congruent pair of angles or congruent pair of sides. All right, let's get started here. So first one, I got these two triangles and they share this side. I'm going to mark this right away. That segment right there, AD, is congruent to itself by reflexive property, okay? So I've already got two sides in this one, and I might use both of them or only one pair of them. We'll call this like a pair. If you were to break it apart, you'd see the same two sides. I might use both or I might just use one pair, okay? We'll see. Side, side, side. What other stuff am I going to need? I'm going to need the other two sides. So I'm going to need AC is congruent to B. There we go. All right. First one done, right? Because if I had these two sides, I already got these two given, and that one, reflexive property, good to go, done, side, side, side. All right, how about side, angle, side? Well, I've got these two given. We know this one's true by reflexive property. So this angle, these two angles right here and here, those two congruent would be side, angle, side, and then we have side, angle, side. All right, very good. So it's going to be angle ADC and angle ADB. Now, some teachers will allow you to say angle D and angle D, but if I said angle D, which am I talking about? This angle, or this like straight angle, or this one? Like, it's not specific enough. If you wanted to, you could even write down like a 1 and a 2 and just call it angle 1 and angle 2. A lot of people will allow you to do that if you write it on the diagram, okay? So that one you might want to ask your teacher on how they want you to label your angles. This is the most official way to do it with 3 points, all right? ADC, D being my vertex, it goes in the middle. ADB, again, D being my vertex, it goes in the middle. All right, enough of that. Next up, we got angle, side, angle. This one, we have some options here, okay? I'm going to go with just the given sides, this one and this one here. Okay, so those are going to be my two sides. That'll be the middle guy right there. So if I want angle, side, angle, well, I need the two angles that are on the ends of that side that we're talking about. So that way the side goes in the middle. So we're really talking about these two angles here, and that makes the side in the middle. These two angles here, and that side goes in the middle. So we'll start with B and C. So angle C is congruent to angle B, and we've got these two angles here, which we just used in this one. So maybe I'll drop down. I'm not going to have enough room here. Angle ADC is congruent to angle ADB. Beautiful. Wonderful. Fantastic. All right. I'm actually going to mark this one here, and then we'll change colors for this one. So here I've got angle C and B, and I've got angle ADC and angle ADB. Okay, so here we can see it's angle, side, and then angle, all right? So people get kind of confused when we're talking about angle, angle, side. So versus angle, side, angle. Again, notice that the side here is touching both angles in the statement, and the side here is touching both these angles in the statement, right? All right, so now on to angle, angle, side. I'm still going to use this side, CD and BD, because it was given to us. We're not going to use the reflexive side here, all right? I'm going to use C, and I'm going to use B. All right, so angle C is congruent to angle B. But my other angle, if we're going to do angle, angle, side, should not be touching the side that we're using. So I'm going to use this one up here instead. This angle, or these two angles, do not touch this side, whereas this angle here does touch the side. So the angles up here are kind of like your first A right here, and the angles down here are like your second A, which does touch the side in the statement. Hopefully that follows, okay, and then you understand that. So I'm going to label this, or I'm going to name this angle. Now it's CAD, A being my vertex this time, angle CAD, CAD, and then angle BAD, bad. There we go, man. All right. Common test question when you're in your congruent triangles unit. is to ask what additional piece of information we might need. We don't always ask you to full on prove triangles congruent. We might ask for corresponding parts that are congruent, but this is a common question that I see coming up on most geometry tests during the congruent triangle unit. All right, if I were writing a test, I'd be throwing these in there. And I do write tests, and I do throw these in there. All right, next one. So we got ourselves another lovely little diagram here, ABC, this triangle here, and then we've got EDC, right? So we're trying to prove these two triangles congruent by side, 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 angle, or angle, angle, side. What information are we going to need? Well, I do have like a freebie piece of information beyond the given that we have here, BC and DC being congruent. We also could have said that C was the midpoint of BD, and you could get that from that, right? These are vertical angles. So I already have those, okay? So I can use those if I want, right? And not have to write it down in here, okay? Because I've marked it on my diagram. It is true, all right? So let's get going now. For side, 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 I'm not going to use those angles. But I will need BA and ED to be congruent. So let's say that BA is congruent to ED. And note how BA or AB and then ED, they're in the same two spots, right? The first two and the first two in my congruent statement. Those are going to be corresponding sides, so they have to be congruent, right? And then I also have AC and EC. So we'll write that as well. AC congruent to EC. And once again, AC is on the outside and outside. EC, outside and outside. All right? Yay. Lovely. Okay. That takes care of side, side, side. How about side, angle, side? Well, let's make it as easy as possible, right? I've got a pair of sides already given. I've got two angles that we got from being vertical angles, or vertical angles are congruent. What other sides would I need? Well, the other side in the statement, right, has to touch the angle. So if I did these two here, this would be an angle side-side situation. This side is not touching that angle, and you cannot prove triangles congruent by angle side-side. I shall maybe link in a video proving that physically. Did it in our geocon class. It was pretty dope with 2x4s and a hinge. Anywho, more on that later. I'll link it. I think it usually goes up here or something like that. Okay. But for side angle side here, I could use these two because then this side here forms this angle, and these sides here also help form that angle. So there we go. We got AC. It's congruent to EC. And again, note that we have AC on the outside, EC on the outside. Yay! Very good. So now we have side, angle, side. Cool. All right, how about angle, side, angle? Well, if it's angle, side, angle, both angles need to be touching the side. Whereas in angle, angle, side, one of the angles should not touch that side. The other angle should be touching the side or being formed by that side, okay? So angle, side's going to be smack dab in the middle. That means I'm talking about angle B being congruent to angle D. Angle B and D are both touching the sides that are congruent. Our vertical angles that we already marked and don't need to write down here are touching those sides as well, okay? So there we go. Beautiful. Fantastic. Now we got angle, angle, side. Well, what pair of angles are not touching the sides that we know are congruent? That'd be angles A and E. So angle A congruent to angle E. And once again, note, guys, we got A in the first spot, we got E in the first spot. We got B in the middle, we got D in the middle, okay? If they're in different positions and you're writing that stuff down, you did something wrong. So double check yourself before you wreck yourself. But there we go, guys. We got our congruent triangles. We wrote the additional piece of information we need, and that's a nice practice for like proving triangles congruent, because then you can start looking like, what do I need to prove these triangles congruent? And you can start trying to find things to make stuff work, okay? Congruent triangles, always tough, especially with proof writing. It's very cumbersome and not an easy thing to grasp. So if you're struggling with it, it's okay. We got you. We're going to help you through it. It does take a bit of practice, all right? Hope this helps. Hope you guys had a great time watching this dope video. I had a great time making this dope video. So see you guys later.